everything can come after the basics, but we can't have anything before that. And we need to have a solid foundation of an economy that we can support everything else around it.
I think even in family life, things can be so busy. We all have work and school and university and other commitments. And it's important just to take time, at least every day, or as much as possible, to sit down together and talk about what's on your mind, how your day's been, or any stresses at those commitments that are outside of the family home.
Sustainability is such a key word, like a buzzword nowadays, but at the end of the day, it does have quite a technical meaning, which involves social, economic and environmental protection embedded into one term.
I think the most important thing you need to have a good life is a healthy planet. Like, the Earth is the only known place in the universe that can sustain life. And for me, the climate crisis is a symptom of a much deeper problem. It's intricately tied to human rights violations, social justice, and it's also intricately tied to health and well-being. There's literal lives on the line because of the climate crisis, and now we're saying that 40% of young people are presenting to psychologists with eco-anxiety because they're really anxious about their future and it's affecting their health and well-being. So I think a healthy and sustainable planet, a renewed world, is really important for us to have a good life.
I suppose it all comes back to, as well, this idea of investing in a well-being economy. There's been many job losses over the past number of years and people have really started to struggle. So I think as part of well-being, it's important to look at it in a health perspective, but also in an economic perspective, and measuring the economy now in a sort of well-being focus.
We have a cleaner environment than I think most countries. We have a lot of green space. We can get out, we can just reset, so to speak.
So I think that Northern Ireland does have a lot of strengths in relation to well-being, and a challenge with this maybe is that most of our services and our systems are somewhat reactive, and I think to be a real leader when it comes to well-being, we need to start preventative measures, so using our vision and imagination, and I think this is what Northern Ireland does best when we come together in successful partnerships and meaningful alliances.
Like, an ambitious climate bill is necessary, and soon. It needs to mitigate the effects of climate change, or there's no point in worrying about well-being because people aren't going to have a good life if climate change is raging, which it will be if we don't have this robust climate bill. That's a really, really important one, and we need it as soon as possible.
So I think it's really important that we start building in that community well-being and emotional well-being. Actually, I would support that right from an education level. I think we should have children in primary schools learning about their emotional health, even if that's just sort of the happy face and the sad face and what that means and how they feel. That can be a really good start to them expressing themselves. And the earlier that we do that, the more they will be encouraged to do that throughout their life.
We've touched on mental health, so I think it is important to kind of stick with that theme, because this was something that was a problem, before COVID-19. So I think we have a real opportunity now over the next 10 years to properly tackle that.
We also need to consider justice and equity in these conversations about well-being, and centering empathy and compassion in our politics, and any action that we do take to improve well-being really needs to generate society-wide value.
Climate resilience isn't a kind of term that will be muddied, and rather it'll be used constructively with economic policies. So, for example, if there is flood defense technologies that are introduced, hopefully that can create jobs, long-term jobs, highly skilled jobs.
We need high-skilled jobs, because right now we have a brain drain in Northern Ireland. Anyone that's really clever doesn't stay in Northern Ireland, they go to England.
My message is that there are ways to improve well-being and the environment. It's not one or the other. Quite often they go hand in hand, like increasing public transport and green spaces. These two things, well-being and the environment, should be at the heart of policy and legislation going forward. Please don't let partisan issues or profit come before our people and our planet.
And finally, I would just encourage decision makers in Northern Ireland to be really bold, and to listen to civil society and what people are asking for.